When we don't process our trauma, it will show up later. Okay, let me get into this. So, first of all, I would love to just explain, like, trauma is hugely misunderstood. So, very brief, trauma is anything that is too much, too fast, too soon for the nervous system to handle, or not enough for a long period of time. So I share that because I'll often be like at markets or festivals, events, trade shows, these kinds of things, and I offer mini sit sessions. And so the sign that I have is, uncover and resolve the emotional root of anxiety, depression, insomnia, gut issues, fears, phobias, and so much more. And so it catches people's eye, right? Because a lot of people navigate a lot of those things, usually not just one of them, there's usually a few. And so then we start having the conversation. They're like, what do you mean? How are we going to do this? What are you actually doing? What kind of wizardry are you up to here, right? And so when I get into, we're going to uncover the sensory data that your body is holding, that is locked in the body from, unprocessed trauma, suppressed emotions, memories, these kinds of things. And so many people say, oh, I haven't experienced any trauma, so I'm good. I guess the anxiety just comes from somewhere else. And then I ask them, okay, amazing. Like, so glad to hear that you have not experienced any trauma. And also, were you allowed to express emotions when you were younger? And I mean all emotion, okay? Because often, it might be like, oh, of course, we were such a joyful family. There was so much happiness, so much excitement, so much joy. And I'm like, cool. What about when you were pissed right off? What about when you were angry and you wanted to get that out? What about when you were sad? What about when the sort of, what is considered less desirable emotions came up? Then what? Oh, no. We didn't talk about that stuff. We didn't get into that stuff. So, okay, what happens to it? It gets pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And the opposite of expression is depression. So, when we are holding this in the body, similar to unprocessed trauma, right? A lot of people will say like, oh, time heals anything. No. No, the extended amount of time and living in the patterns and the stories that are created from the trauma being locked in your body, it solidifies the pattern, right? So this is where subconscious work, somatic work, getting into the body is so important. It is so vital. Now, I'm not saying talk therapy doesn't have its place. It totally does. And we need to interrupt the stories. But it's interesting that a lot of people will ask me, well, if I'm supposed to interrupt the stories, then isn't that mindset work? And it's like, well, I mean, kind of. Like, there's parts of that, sure. But story follows state. So our body perceives a danger. Maybe there actually is a danger. Whatever it is, there's a danger, a real danger or a perceived danger that our body perceives, feels, sends those cues to the brain. The brain then creates a story about it, sends it back to the body, and the cycle continues, right? So we can interrupt those patterns, but we still need to get into the body to truly help resolve the root and get to that root, resolve the sensory data, work through, what are the programs, what are the patterns that are now coming up time after time after time when your body feels those same sensations, notices, what seems like the same danger. So, this is why we need to get into the body and truly look at the roots of that sensory data that the body is holding from the unresolved trauma, the suppressed emotions, memories, all of this. This is what we can get to with subconscious imprinting technique, somatic work, movement, really getting to know your nervous system. So, as always, if you have questions, drop them below, reach out, send me a message. I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. So thank you for listening. Have such a beautiful day. See you soon.